Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch a video I made last night. I'm going to put it on mute though, so you guys can take notes. Okay.
Okay.
Remember that we're going to have a open book test probably on this, so you can use your notes. All right. So this is about the stock market crash, because I realized the other day we were really having a hard time remembering like what we read in the book, and this is really complicated. So this is going to go step by step why the market crashed. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Do we have to take notes on the video?
Yes. So it's going to be, I'm going to tell you what to do. Hang on, let me put my screen share on. Yes, Miss Polsky, this relates to your history book. I think isn't the essay question asking about
it's like about the like why the stock market, like what are the factors?
Okay, so this would be something that you could definitely write about.
Okay, because I couldn't
use this.
I didn't get that part.
Yeah, so this is something you can use. So
Okay,
so what you're going to do on the top of your page, write the stock market crash. Okay, are you guys ready?
No.
Yes.
Okay,
No.
So what year did the stock market crash?
1929.
Yes, 1929. So anything in blue that is written in blue, you are responsible for, okay? So stock market crashed in 1929. So put that somewhere on your paper.
okay.
Okay, so these are Miss Ballard's awesome pictures. You do not need to draw pictures, but you're going to see stuff. Do you see where my arrow is?
Yeah.
It's going to show up on the right-hand side. You're going to write down what it says in blue and then just draw an arrow. So you're going to write what it says in blue, in whatever color you have, but it's going to be blue writing, and then draw an arrow down to the next step. So it's going to be like a flow chart. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
Are we doing Cornell note style or like?
No, this is not Cornell notes. It's just like a flow chart, or you can number it. So this is number 1.
Okay.
What?
Okay, so we start in the Roaring 20s. And the Roaring 20s we talked about was a really exciting time. We did our Roaring 20s the last day. Everybody had lots of money. Everybody was partying. It was a great time. So our first step is the Roaring 20s were after World War I, and everything was great. So that should be your first step that you write down.
Wait, are we just supposed to like do an arrow after like the stock market crash?
Do an arrow right after that, like right here. And then
Right.
you're going to go to the next step. Or you can number it, Lily. It's your choice.
Okay.
Okay, this is just to help you understand why the market crashed.
Okay.
Wait, Miss Ballard, can you go back to the other slide?
Sure.
Okay, I'm done. You can go.
Okay. All right. So next step. Okay, so because it was a really great time, people were making tons of money. Business was booming. So you're going to write business was booming.
Is this the next one?
Yeah, this is your next one. So your stocks, the stock prices were really going up. Okay, so because the stock prices kept going up, people wanted to buy more and more stocks. Okay, so is everybody writing number 2 now?
Yeah.
Wait.
Are those both 2 or is that?
Yeah, this is both 2. So each picture is like a different number.
Miss Ballard, I love your people.
Thank you. Usually we do this on the board and it looks better. So this is Miss Ballard drawing on her tablet. So
What are you using? Like, what app are you using?
I'm using Notability. Okay, so the important thing to know is after World War II, World War I, people had tons of money and they're making lots of money. Okay, And think about the stock market was at an all-time high at this point. So people are rolling in the dough.
Should we write that?
No, it's okay. Right, this is number 3. So people are going to borrow money from the banks
Okay.
because they want to buy more stocks.
Is
So
this number 3?
number 3, yep. People wanted to buy more stocks because the prices are going up. And you could make a ton of money really easily because the stocks keep going up. It's guaranteed you're going to make money. So you'd borrow money so you could buy more stocks because then you can make more money quickly. Okay, so people wanted to buy more stock because easy way to make money quickly.
Is it still like that? Like how much money you can, because you can make a lot of money from the stock market or not really?
To some extent, you can still do this. I don't think you can do it quite as much now. So borrow money from bank to buy more stock. Can you read that?
Is that all 3?
That's all number 3. Oops, let me go back. It didn't say stock. Okay. This is all number 3. Normally we do this on the board, but that isn't going to happen. So that's why we have a video.
But why would people like? Wait, so isn't stocks like if? Wait, I'm so confused.
So that's a good question, Lily. Normally we do a whole unit where we pretend we buy and sell stocks, but
Okay.
yeah. We're not doing that because A, we're not at school, and B, the stock market is not doing well right now. So it would be really hard for you guys to understand it. So essentially, think about if I had a bakery, okay, and Lily, you're like, hey, Miss Ballard, your bakery is doing really well. Can I own part of your bakery and then get some-
yeah, this is like the chocolate factory, like it said in the book.
Yes, exactly, like the chocolate factory. So you would give me money to buy a part of my business, and that's what stock is.
Because I always, like, when it brought up the stocks, I always remember the game Life, because there's stocks in that game. I
Yeah.
was like, what, is that like it? And I didn't know.
Yeah.
Miss Ballard, am I writing this right?
Let me look, Kit. Hang on.
I
Kit.
don't think I'm writing it right.
Kit. Yep.
Okay.
Doing it like a flow chart or numbering it is fine. It's whatever works for you guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Can I move on, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we have our 3 companies, company A, B, and C. So more companies. That's the way I
Is
wrote.
this like number 4?
This is number 4. More companies start up to get a piece of the pie. Okay, so let's say that I have my bakery, okay, and I'm selling my baguettes left and right, and Kit is like, you know what, I can make just as good a baguette as Miss Ballard, so Kit starts her own business, right? So we're going to have all these companies starting up to do pretty much the same things. Number 4. Can I move on, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, hang on. It'll pop down just a second. Okay. So that is a dollar bill, in case you're wondering. This is number 5. Don't giggle. They must divide the profits among more companies, so everyone gets less money. So I start a business making baguettes. Kit starts a business making baguettes. Annie starts a business making baguettes, and people aren't going to want to buy 3 baguettes. They're not going to want to buy one from each of us. So what that means is I'm only going to get maybe a third of the customers I used to have. and then Kit's going to get a third, and Amy's going to get a third. So we're all making less money. That's what's really important. Everybody is getting less money. Okay, everybody good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so we divide our profits, so everybody got less. So buying is going to slow, and everyone's going to have even less money. So I'm not making as much money at my bakery, so I'm not going to go and buy green beans from Joa. Okay, I don't have as much money, and I'm not going to go buy a car from Sage, and I'm not going to go buy pickles from Lily. Okay, so I have less money to spend. So that means that the other businesses are going to make less money off of me. So I think that's number 6. Okay, number 7. So people start getting really scared and they sell off their stock. So remember how Lily owns a piece of my company? Well, Lily says, hey, I don't want to own a piece of a company that doesn't sell as many baguettes. You're not making as much money. Your part of your business isn't worth as much to me. So Lily is going to sell her stock so that she can hopefully get her money back. And this results in Black Tuesday, which is in October of 1929.
Oh yeah, did they lose like $14 million or something? No.
They lost a lot of money in one day. All this money evaporated, essentially.
Miss Ballard, question.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't the government just print a whole bunch of money and hand it out to everybody so it would solve the problem?
So we are going to talk about that next week, Audrey. That some countries did do that. Okay.
Can you go back to the
last one.
Yeah, the Black Tuesday thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's a great question, Audrey, and we're going to talk about that next week and why that doesn't work.
Okay.
That's a great question. Remind me next week, okay?
Okay. I'll try to remember.
Okay. We'll probably remember when we get to it. Annie, you done?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's trying to sell off their stock, right? Because they're scared. So, unfortunately, though, nobody wants to buy the stock. My company is worth very much. So, that means that you can't sell your stock. So, Lily wants to get rid of her stock in my company, but nobody wants to buy it. And she's really freaked out and wants to sell.
Is this still number 7?
This is the next one.
Wait, Miss Ballard, why can't you just like change the company kind of? Like if you have that part of the company, why can't you just make it like kind of different?
Some companies would want to do that, right?
Yeah.
But like let's say I don't just sell baguettes. Maybe I'm going to expand and sell birthday cakes. The idea is that this is something that's happening across the country all at once. So even if your company's doing well, everyone's saying, hey, everybody's selling their stock. I better sell mine really quick too. It's panic mentality. So
Kind of like how people were panicking with the coronavirus.
Yeah, where like people are selling off their stock real quick. So you're having a lot of panic right now in the market. Not as much at all as during the Great Depression, but the market did go down 2,000. We would say 2,000 points, which is a lot. So the price keeps going down of the stock.
Is this the
This is the new one. Anytime it moves to a new picture, it's a new one. So people keep reducing how much they want to pay for a stock. Okay. So the value of my company keeps going down. And Lily keeps saying, hey, I'll give you even less money to buy a piece of Miss Ballard's company. The problem is that to do, oops, sorry, let me go back. The problem is that to do that, they have to keep lowering the price. So the price goes down really, really quickly.
So, Miss Ballard, you say, like, if you had $1,000, like, it would still be like that amount of money if you counted it, but it wouldn't be worth that much?
Okay, so that's a good question. So let's say that I want to buy stock in Amazon. Okay, so if I want one piece of Amazon to own one share of Amazon, it costs, let me check my phone. If I wanted to buy one share in Amazon, it would cost me $1,907.23. That's like one part of the company. So let's say that the value of my part of that company goes down. So even though I paid almost $2,000 for the stock, if it goes down to like $1,500, I've lost $400. Does that make sense?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so think about when you buy a stock, it's like buying a part of the company. So for my bread business, if Lily buys part of my company, that means that when I make money, she makes part of that as money. But she's not going to want to own a part of my company if I'm making less money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's going to say, well, owning part of your company doesn't matter. I don't want your company. You're not making as much money. So even though she paid, let's say she paid me $100 to own half my company. Well, she can say, well, somebody else can have half of your company, but they're only going to pay me $50 because they don't think you're going to make as much bread.
So
So
are you basically just like owning a part of the company?
yes, that's what stock
Oh.
is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're owning part of the company. So when Amazon makes money, then I, as a shareholder, somebody who owns the stock shares, would get part of that money sent to me. So that goes into my bank account.
Oh.
Okay. That's how I explain it. Okay.
Miss
Next
Ballard.
one.
Miss Ballard, is it kind of like when people make like a product and put it like in the store and not very many people want to buy it, so they have to like lower the price? So that
Yeah, it's basic economics, but it's just with owning part of the company versus part of a product. So the prices are going to fall even more and faster as people desperately try to get rid of their stock.
It's so weird. Oh shoot.
Is this step 10?
Probably.
Okay.
wait, Miss Ballard, go back.
I'm going back. Can I go, Audrey?
No,
I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm done now.
Annie, are you done?
Almost. I'm done.
Okay. So remember those people who borrowed money to buy stock?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, this is who it comes back to bite, and the banks as well. So people lose everything. And remember, your stock value is almost nothing. So you've lost a lot of your money. And they borrowed all that money from the bank. So can they return that money to the bank? Can they pay back their loan? No.
Yeah.
Okay. So people lost everything and couldn't pay back money to the bank, which means that the bank no longer has any money. So the bank is closed now and your house is foreclosed, which means that if you own like if you have your house and you owe money on your house, like a mortgage, the bank can say, you did not pay your mortgage. You must give me your house. So you have a lot of people like this sad little girl who are homeless.
Oh,
I thought that was a great drawing personally.
yes. It was.
It was pretty good.
Incredible.
So the important thing is your banks are closed. So let's say that Lily, let's say, let's not do Lily. I've been picking on Lily a lot. Let's say that Kit wants to start a new business. Okay. She's tired of the baguette business. She wants to start a business of muffins. So Kit would normally go to the bank and borrow money so that she could start her business, but the bank is closed, so she can't start a business. So she only can take a job where there's jobs available. You can't really create new jobs.
Wait, why can't the bank just like print out a lot of money and give it to themselves?
The bank does not print the money. The U.S. government prints the money.
But then why can't they still give it to them? Like everyone gets equal money. Like
Okay, so that's a question. And just like Audrey asked, we're going to do it tomorrow.
like every bank.
We're going to do that next week, okay? I promise we'll get to it. But that's a whole different ballgame. Okay, is everybody done with this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Is that because the government didn't have any money? Because nobody could pay the taxes?
It has to do with the value of your money. So we'll talk about it next week. It's called inflation, but that's
print too much money, because if you print too much money out, then the value of the money goes up. I mean, well, down. Which one of those? And then if you want to get like a
Everything's gonna cost more.
yeah. You
So
print out the money.
next week I'm going to show you. I have $100 billion bill for you to look at, for real. So I will show it to you next week, but we're going to do that next week when we talk about Germany. Okay. All right. So this is our next slide. People don't have money to spend, so other businesses fail. So a little girl got kicked out of her house, right? So her family doesn't have money, so they're not going to go to the store. They can't go buy any new clothes. They're not going to go to. They have no money to spend. They can't go buy a new car. So because people aren't spending money at any of these places because they've lost their money, other businesses are going to fail too.
Miss Ballard, were there still some businesses that still work?
Yeah. So when we talk about depression, it doesn't mean that there is no business, there's no job. It just means that there's a large portion of people who have lost their jobs.
But
So we talked about on Wednesday, St. Louis had its own Hooverville, and we said 30% of people were unemployed. So that means that 1 out of every 3 people couldn't find a job. But that means 2 out of 3 people who wanted to work could work.
but what about like it said that Europe like was doing bad like before America. So
Mhm.
why didn't we just learn from them? Like do we know that they were like not doing good with money either? Or did
So remember we talked about the stock market crash was a big part of the Great Depression, but there were other things as well.
Mhm.
We talked about how we had the Dust Bowl, how we had the tariff, how we had the banks close. So there's multiple things that happen. The big problem with Europe, that's a great question, Lily. Europe had just had a big war. So you had lots of people who had no houses. You had really messed up farmland. You had a lot of people who were dead. So they had their own thing going on before we did. So we thought they wouldn't touch us really. Okay, there's 2 more. All right, so in the end, lots of money is just gone. Okay, it's like now if you own money and if you had money in the stock market, you would have lost money this week. It's very hard concept to understand. But the idea is a lot of wealth in our country is gone. So in the end, money has evaporated and there is less money for everyone.
Wait, is this a new thing?
Yep, it's a new one. So the idea with the depression, sorry. So the idea with the depression is that it affects everyone in society. It's not going to affect everyone equally, but everybody in society is probably going to be affected. So my grandma, her family only survived the Great Depression because my great grandpa had been injured in World War I, and the US government would send them a check every month because he was disabled because he'd been shot. And that's the only way they lived. My grandpa on my other side, he would go and pick up coal off the train tracks where they had fallen off the train. So this was something that your great grandparents would probably remember, and your family might even have stories from that.
Make sure that you ask your question.
Right, everybody done with this one?
You know how you were saying like how it had like evaporated, you know? Never mind. Forgot my question.
Okay, that's okay. We have one more slide, so then you
Okay.
can think about it. Okay, so why is it called the Great Depression? So you don't need to write this part down, but this is what Ingrid asked last week. So when we have a price of a stock like this, here's our date, and here's the value of our stock. So usually the stock market generally goes up. That's normal. But if it dips for a while, that's a depression. And eventually it will go back up, usually. But this is the depression part right here. Think of it like a hole in the ground. It's depressed. So if you think about it, the Great Depression starts really in 1929, is when we fall really rapidly, and gradually we go back up. So what do you think ultimately ended the Great Depression?
FDR, World War II.
World War II. So not until really World War II did we end the Great Depression, and that was 1941. Okay. Any questions on that part?
I have a question. So, if like would people die of starvation in it?
Some people did. We didn't have as many ways to help people back then. There were soup kitchens, but you didn't have as many programs the government did.
Okay.
So there were people who were definitely hungry. So we're going to pause for a second. We have a special guest today who wants to talk to us.
Oh, I don't know. I just wanted to say hello.
Hi.
I enjoyed joining you for class today. I hope you're all doing well. You know, I just wanted to let you know that we're thinking about you. We're praying for you and your family. I'm glad that Miss Ballard is your teacher, and she's doing a great job. So thanks, guys. That's all I need to say.
Thank you.
Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the actual slides. So we're probably not going to get through all this today. I'm going to honor our time being done at 10:45. So under our next thing, actually, do you have a second sheet of paper, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it okay if we just use the back?
Okay, you can use the back.
I've
but
already
if you run out. Go ahead and grab a second sheet of paper.
What should we write at the top?
Okay, at the top, you're going to write FDR's Alphabet Soup Programs, Great Depression Part 2. Do you see my slide?
FDR alphabet soup.
Can you guys see my slides?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So normally we make alphabet soup to help us remember this, and we pretend that we're making the different programs FDR made. But this is the way the federal government tried to stop the Great Depression to solve the problem.
What are we supposed to write? Just the thing right
This is
there.
your title up here, Lily. This is your title.
Oh, okay.
Is this like a Cornell note?
Yeah, this one's going to be like Cornell notes.
Yeah.
And you can just write GD Part 2 if it's easier for you.
Okay.
So is it like our other notes were like part 1, part 3, like
It's kind of like Part 3. It's just like the second day. All right, guys, can I move the slide?
yeah.
Okay, so on the left, write Black Tuesday. in the margin. And then this is what goes on the right side. October 29th, 1929. So if you know the year of 1929, that's what I want you to know. Okay, that's really a benchmark in history. And that's the day the stock market crashed. When we talk about a market crashing, what we mean is that the value of the stocks decreased rapidly. So it might start higher up in the day and then it goes lower very rapidly, the value of your stock. So if you've been watching the news, we haven't had a stock market crash. The market has gone down about 2,000 points last I checked, which is about 10%.
Miss Ballard. So, like, isn't the market going like up and down? Cause like, my dad's like a financial planner, so like, if whatever happens to like the economy or the stock market affects what's going on with him, because like more people don't need, like, he helps people manage their money. So like, if more people are using their money, you don't have as many people needing help managing it.
Right. So the market does go up and down, Audrey. Generally, over time, the market always goes up, but there's dips usually in the market too. Okay, so we've had depressions and recessions over the years. So when I went to college in 2008, I think you guys were really little then. If you were born, were you born then?
I was born.
Okay, just check it. I went to college in 2008 when I started, and we were, they call it the Great Recession. And I remember the gas prices were $4 a gallon.
What?
Okay,
That's how much they
so
are all
we've
over
had
in the
recessions,
usually.
we've had depressions before, but this is definitely the worst depression was in 1929. Okay. All right, so we're gonna watch a quick video. Oops, sorry.
Do we take notes on this?
Ballard, has there been a crash? Like,
Wait, do we need to take notes on this?
No, do not take notes on this.
Okay.
Has there been anything close to that kind of crash since that time?
No, this was by far the worst crash in history. The only thing recently like this was in 2008. So this is FDR's inauguration speech. So this is when he became president. So the country is really freaked out. Okay, everybody's panicking. There's concern. There's a lot of confusion. So this is his famous speech he gives. Okay,
Miss Ballard, that's my favorite quote. Is nothing to fear is fear itself.
oh, good. Okay, so everybody listen.
And I am certain that on this day, my fellow Americans expect that on my induction into the presidency, I will address them with a candor and a decision which the present situation of our people impels. So first of all, let me express my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Okay, so this is the famous part of his speech that he did, which people will say, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, because he's talking about we were so freaked out that it was really hurting our economy. He needed people to stop panicking. Okay, so this is another thing you're just going to watch, okay?
Wait, do you actually take notes on this?
No.
Okay.
Hang on.
Bless you.
I pledge myself to a new deal for the American people.
FDR's first 100 days in office became the most action-packed in American history.
After enacting the Emergency Bank Act, Roosevelt next pushed reforms through Congress to fight fraud in the securities markets. He provided relief for debt-ridden homeowners and farmers facing the loss of their homes and property. And he worked to stimulate inflation in an effort to prop up sagging prices and wages that were dragging the economy down.
In the 100 Days of Action, March 9th to June 16th, 1933, 16 major issues were addressed.
March 9th, Emergency Banking Act.
March 20th, Government Economy Act.
March 22nd, Beer Wine Revenue Act.
March 31st, creation of Civilian Conservation Corps.
April 19th, abandonment of gold standard.
May 12th, Federal Emergency Relief Act, Agricultural Adjustment Act, and the Emergency Farm Mortgage Act.
May 18th, Tennessee Valley Authority Act.
May 27th, Securities Act.
June 5th, abrogation of gold payment clause.
June 13th, Homeowners Loan Act.
June 16th, Farm Credit Act. National Industry Recovery Act. Emergency Railroad Transportation Act. And Glass-Steagall Banking Act.
No new president had ever moved with such urgency on so many fronts so fast, issuing proclamations and executive orders and driving a torrent of legislation through Congress to relieve economic hardship, stimulate recovery, and enact reforms.
Confidence and courage are the essentials of success in carrying out our plan.
Okay. Sounds like we have a dog with us. So, whose dog is that?
James, I think it's James's.
James
James had a dog.
yeah. James, just yourself.
Yeah, James, just mute yourself for a second. Okay, alphabet soup goes on your left, and then this part goes on your right. This is the most writing you have. Okay, everything else is pretty short. Okay, so I'll talk about this as you write. So the video showed you that in his first 100 days that he was president, Franklin Roosevelt passed hundreds of pieces of legislation to get the country back on its feet. So we talked about on Wednesday how Herbert Hoover just wanted to leave things alone. Franklin Roosevelt was the opposite. He was trying to get the country working by creating lots of new agencies to help people, new ways to regulate the economy, new ways to help farmers. So he was creating all these different organizations to help people. And these programs were called, the names by their acronyms. So the CCC, the TVA, the AAA. And that's why it was called alphabet soup, because instead of saying the Civilian Conservation Corps, you would just say the letters. Most of these were created during his first 100 days. So think about how long it takes now to get things passed in Congress. This was done in 100 days, all of these programs. And these were like emergency things that he did. Yep. Question? So it was just in the newspaper today, guys, that President Trump signed into a bill to make to be able to make more hospital stuff quickly. So a lot of times presidents have to take emergency steps to get things to happen. So that's what Franklin Roosevelt was doing.
Wait, what did Trump do?
He signed a bill to help different companies get more supplies to make emergency medical equipment. So that's a crisis now, right? Coronavirus. So it's similar in some respects to what Franklin Roosevelt was going through with trying to get all these things passed quickly to help people. It's just an emergency. Yes, Crew.
The New England Patriots, they spent $1.24 million on masks in the United States. Like, it was either yesterday or the day before.
Did you see that they sent their airplane?
Yeah. Say the New England Patriots spent $1.24 million on masks for the USA.
Oh, wow.
Right, guys, can I turn it?
Went back to work today for the first time since like the coronavirus started.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like a full bodysuit thing. Crazy.
Can I turn it, guys?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because her car was parked way closer than my car. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to flip it.
No. Yes.
All right, if you have a lot of noise in your background, mute yourself.
To back it off in general, like, I don't have any room whenever I park. She treats it like she's still an only car out there. I have to do some race car type stuff to pull the parent and back up.
Lily.
Okay. Okay, finishing up. All right, so okay. On the left-hand side, right, the CCC. So this is one of the organizations that Franklin Roosevelt created, and it was called the Civilian Conservation Corps. And they employed thousands of young men in camps across the country to improve public lands. So state parks, national forests, national parks, these guys would go in and they'd build roads, they'd build buildings, they'd build trails. And a lot of people really, really liked it. It was like going to camp and you got paid. You didn't have to do a lot of hard work, but a lot of the guys who did it grew up on farms, so they were used to hard work. And some of them said, well, on the farm, I worked 16 hours a day. Here I work 10 and I'm getting paid. So the government would give $2. I think it was $2 to the guys, and then they'd say you have to send your $8 home to your family. So that way we knew the money was going home to their parents or their family. But most of them were pretty young, probably like 18 to 30 years old. Has anyone been to Yellowstone National Park before?
I have.
Or Glacier National Park? Or Babbler State Park? Or let's see what else.
Grand Canyon also be like
Grand Canyon.
I've been.
Pure Marquette State Park.
It's like Death Valley one or like.
How about Bennett Springs State Park?
Yes.
Wait, this bridge.
Oh my goodness.
See.
Lily, it's
What?
Ah,
Oh yeah, that's when we fell in the hole and Ingrid saved us. I remember that.
That's probably why I'm not in.
Yes, I didn't know where you were. So
I was still behind somewhere. I don't know where I was.
This was a bridge built by the CCC. Okay, so you have seen work the CCC did, and a lot of it is still around. It's very good. It's usually made out of stone, so it's very high quality work. All right, you just need to write the bulleted part.
Miss Ballard.
Yep.
Can you go back to the
Everybody, I can't hear anything you're saying.
Oh yeah.
Can you stay there really fast?
Let's see. Lily, I'm muting you because you have a lot of background noise. I'm going to mute you too. Okay, Annie, can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so just write the bolded parts, guys. You don't need to write this other part.
Oh.
Okay, is everybody done with the bolded part?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about how the bridge in Bennett Springs was made by the Civilian Conservation Corps. They also helped to do the hatchery there. All right, just write the bolded part. On the left, write TVA. On the right, this is the Tennessee Valley Authority. So if you've been to the Smoky Mountains before, that whole area around there was part of the Tennessee Valley Authority and the Appalachian mountain area. And they built all these dams in the Appalachians. And this gave people money because they were building dams, which made jobs. And also they then could give power to a lot of people who lived in the rural parts of America that didn't have any electricity. So my cousin used to work for the TVA. They lived in Chattanooga, where Miss N lives now, and it's still a very important part of bringing electricity to America. If you've been to Kentucky Lake or Land Between the Lakes, that is also a TVA site. So that's up here. That was also built during the Great Depression. All right, we are going to stop there for today. Thank you guys for listening so well.
Can you leave that there? I didn't finish.
Okay. I want to stay with our time line because I told you we'd be done at 10:45, so it's 10:46. So we will finish up next week on the last couple of slides, and then we're also going to talk about the rise of the Nazis next week. Okay. So I will send out a schedule. We'll probably do 2 lectures next week. Next week is a short week, and the following week because we have Easter coming up.
Okay. And then Miss Ballard,
Yeah.
you know how you sent us like the answer sheet for the Worthy Wise, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did you only send that to like my mom, or did you send it to my dad because my mom's working right now? Or did like
Isabel, why don't I just send it to your email?
Okay, cool. Because I was like, I
Miss
can't
Ballard, will you
read it
send
because I
mine
don't have the answer sheet.
What page?
You send it to mine too.
Yeah. So Isabel, I just send it to whoever is on the class email. So I'll just send it to Sage and Isabel's email then. Okay.
So if we sent those like stories and videos to Miss Fox, when is she gonna like put them out on the thing?
She will if as long as you say you don't want to.
Oh, okay. But when?
When she has time. Miss Fox is busy too.
Mine and Azzy's are already on there.
Miss Ballard,
Uh-huh.
could you send the Worldly Wise thing to my email too? Because my mom's working all day.
Yeah.
And like she needs the phone for that. So.
Will you send it to me too?
Yanni, Isabel, Sage. Who else?
Reese.
Hayden?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any other questions about this week, guys?
Okay, I have a question. So did